I'll go to this. Okay. Well,
Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, Ben, can you bring your left channel down? 1, 2, 1, 2. A little up, a little up. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check. All right, that's good.
Yes, if you go out the door, to the.
Okay, everyone. We was told some people just walked in without signing in. I recommend that you sign in. Make sure if you don't sign in now, make sure you go and sign in because it's a lot of valuable information. And I'm pretty sure you guys want to do a follow-up and we need your contact information to do so. Okay. We'll be starting shortly. Thank you so much, District 3, East Side in the house with woo!
Check, microphone check 1 2 1 2. Thank you all for coming out today to come learn about deed fraud and protection. Now, we got the councilwoman who was on her way, and we're just a little bit early. And so, just to keep everybody feeling friendly and everything, let's do some third district trivia. How many of you all know the third district? Nobody. Not one person here knows the third district. Nobody knows the third district. So I got a question for you. Where is the only outdoor velodrome in the city of Detroit located? Outdoor velodrome. What you said, Mac? On Outer Drive in Mount. What's the name of it? Duraeus Velodrome. Right down the street, we have a velodrome that was built in 1945 named the Duraeus Velodrome. It has come under a state of disrepair over the years, but it is still the only outdoor velodrome in the city of Detroit. How many of you all knew that? There we go. There we go. Where? Yes, ma'am. It is at Duraeus Park, right down the street. Duraeus Playfield. You can't see it from the street, but it's in there. How many of you all know where they used to do soapbox derby races in the third district? Oh, on the hill? Yes, right. You in the soapbox derby races? Now, that is still one of the biggest hills in the city. And those soapbox derby races, we also now have the best sled hill in the city. How many of you all knew that? Best sled hill. Are you all taking your grandbabies or even yourselves to the sled hill? And we just got it regraded to make sure it was smooth and safe and comfortable for everybody. Now, so the trees cut down. Who was telling me earlier they're taking care of those trees over there? I heard you got the trees taken care of over there. Oh, on the hill. There's one. It's not in the way. There's one. We did a little test run the other day. It's not bad. But we now in the third district have the best sled hill in the city of Detroit. So I want to make sure. So we got young people like this over here who are ready for a sled. We got the sled hill for them. Now, how many of you all own an electric vehicle? We got one person with an electric vehicle. How many of you all know that we have the only black female-owned EV charging manufacturer in the state of Michigan, right here in the third district? You knew that? Yeah. Dunamis Charge. The name of it is Dunamis Charge. Her name, and now you're gonna make me miss my pop quiz. Man, I failed my own pop quiz. Man, think about that. And I know her name, and I'll get it in a second. But she owns Dunamis Charge, and she's the only black female-owned EV charging manufacturer in the state of Michigan. Yeah, it is an amazing feat, and she hires lots of young people to manufacture EV charging stations right there. Yes, ma'am. It is on West Grand Boulevard, just east of Mount Elliott. So it's at the edge of the district. Yes, ma'am. A charger? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So how many of you all know that if you own an electric vehicle, we have free charging for electric vehicles in the city of Detroit? At our rec centers, there are 4 charging ports here. And if you have an electric vehicle, you can get it for free. And then guess who's here? Mary Waters is here. Councilwoman Waters, I'm here keeping the crowd warmed up for you. Oh, okay. Until you're ready. And Mary Waters, where is the only outdoor velodrome in the city of Detroit? Where's it located? That's indoor. Duraeus Velodrome right down the street, built 1945. Right here in District 3, I'm telling you. So now another little tidbit. How many pools are in the 3rd district? Public pools. Public pools. The ability to swim at your rec center. How many are in the 3rd district? Where is it in the 3rd district? I'm going to give you a tick-tock. Yes, ma'am. Not Lipke. It used to be at Lipke. That shut down. You're right. There used to be one there. It's at Heilman. Heilman Recreation Center has the only indoor pool in the 3rd district at your rec center. Heilman is on Brock and is just south of East State Fair and just east of Hayes. It's a very large rec center. Where is the brand new basketball court located? Right here? Oh boy, y'all been asking for that for years, haven't you? And guess what you finally got? That's right, we got a basketball court here. Member Waters, we ready to go? You want me to introduce you? Member Waters, I'm ready to go. I want to introduce you. Welcome to the 3rd district. All right, we're gonna make this happen. Let's go, come on. Let's go sit down, Member Waters. Yep, I'm gonna introduce Member Waters on this one. Come on, I got a lot to say. Come on, sit down. All right, I got a lot to say. So number one, thank you all for coming today. This is an excellent opportunity to learn. So I got a little prepared words I'm going to read to you here today. So thank you all for being here. This is the District 3 Deed Fraud Protection Town Hall. In addition, I want to thank my colleague, Councilwoman Mary Waters, for hosting this town hall and holding one right here in the 3rd district. Let's give a hand clap for that. And now looking around this room, I see the bedrock of our community. Homeowners, that's the bedrock. You all own homes here, and you're concerned about your property, which well you should be. And you aren't just residents, you all are the stakeholders who have invested your lives, your families, and your hard-earned resources into our neighborhoods to buy, build, and maintain homes. My office is committed to a simple philosophy: order over chaos. And nothing is more chaotic or more heartbreaking than deed fraud. I just had a story today. My executive assistant's friend at church had their home stolen through deed fraud. Took them 2 years to get it back and had to move out of their own home. Can you imagine paying a mortgage on a home and then having to get out of your own home because someone stole your deed? Boy, your home is likely your most significant financial asset. It is the vehicle for generational wealth. Generational wealth is paramount, and it's something we often don't have. And Member Waters is focused on making sure that you get there. and that your generational wealth is something that you intend to pass down, which is your home to your children and your grandchildren. Unfortunately, there are predators who seek to steal, thieve, take away that legacy through paper crimes and fraudulent transfers. We are here today to move from vulnerable to protected. Member Waters has brought together the experts to show you exactly how to monitor your property records, how to identify the red flags of fraud, and how to utilize the free tools the city and county provide to lock down your deed. Knowledge is our best defense. I want you to ask questions this afternoon. Take the materials home and share this information with your neighbors. This is what we need to do to protect ourselves. Let's work together to make District 3 and the city of Detroit the most secure place in the state of Michigan to own a home. And without further ado, let's get started with our presentation, and let's welcome my colleague, Member Mary Waters, to the 3rd District, and let her know how we appreciate her for helping us protect our homes. Member Mary Waters.
Thank you, Member Benson. And so good afternoon, everyone. It's always an honor to be before our residents. And thank you so much for all that you do to protect your own communities. My colleague, Member Benson here, you know, we work very well together, and we have since my arrival on City Council. That's right, we attend the same church too. But I just want to say thank you for your partnership throughout the years, Member Benson. Yes. So Member Benson has already kind of laid it out. This is about your dignity protected. It's about legacy, your heritage, all of those things that you're trying to protect when it comes to your home. Nobody has a right to step in and take your hard-earned money. And that's why it was so important that we try to raise the level of awareness so that you would know what to do in order to protect your home. And you have some people here today on this panel that will be able to explain some things to you, red flags, those kinds of things you should look out for. So make sure that you get as much information as you possibly can. We also have, Member Benson, one of our council members from District 5, she's not here, Renata Miller, but her family, her baby is here. Okay. Oh, there she is. So, I mean, they have lived in District 3 for about, 90 years? That the family, 90, how many? 97 years. Living right here in District 3. So I wanted to give a shout out to them. And of course, she was not going to miss this meeting today because this is like home for her. All right, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get this started.
Add something to that?
Yes.
And so even on top of that, can my staff please raise their hands? To my staff, Ms. Fisher, you're going to be the newest member of my staff, so go ahead and raise your hand. So not only does she have 97 years of experience in family legacy in the 3rd District, she is now serving the bosses, you all, right here in the 3rd District as the newest member of my staff. And can the rest of my staff give her a hand clap? Welcome her. Welcome her. Let her know that we are nice people. She's going to be part of my staff. So can my staff raise your hand one last time? If you don't know who we are, we work for you. If you are in the 3rd District here, please call us. We work for you. Terry Catchings. We got Damian Mitchell. Oh, we got Miss January. She protects you on your property taxes. She's our board of review member. We have Miss Jada Meredith, who is on her way to France to study soon. She's one of our students over at Wayne State. She's also an intern, very effective member of the team. And we're my former appointees. Where's Missy Lois Moore? Where's Missy Lois Moore in here? Your former BZA appointee, who is now has retired again, and we just interviewed her replacement, which is Miss Campbell. And so can we give a big round of applause for Missy Lois Moore's service to the 3rd District as a BZA member. She made sure that people were not taking advantage and were complying with the zoning ordinances. Thank you, Member Waters. Let me introduce my people and thank them.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, in the sense you're going to do that. I mean, hey, me and my team represent the whole D.
There you go.
That's right. And so I'm going to start out with my board of review member that is here because some of you all might have some questions about, because right now we have coming up in the month of March for people who might want to apply for the HOPE program. So where did she go? Dr. Patman, where are you? Okay, she's out there somewhere. But anyway, but where's another board of review member? All right, there's another board of review member right there. And I wanted to point them out right away, just in case there's some people here who might need some assistance applying for the HOPE application. You know, if you're behind on your property taxes, you know that your income levels at a certain point, you probably will qualify. And so you can ask them some questions today while you are here. And a couple of my team members will be running the show here. And you've got Santana Hills Chief of Staff Joanna Underwood, whose passion is certainly for housing. Oh my God, yes, she eats, sleeps, and drinks it. Then we have Gloria back there. Gloria, you can raise your hand. Who's that sitting next to you, Gloria? Is that Dwayne? All right, all right, that's Dwayne. Is that it? Oh, Tyler is outside. We have and you'll hear from Beverly and briefly a little bit later from Wayne County Treasurer's Eric Sabri's office. So I don't think I've missed anybody, but Felicia sitting over there didn't say a word. So we don't want to prolong this because we respect everybody's time. There's Dr. Pat. So you got 2 board of review people here. You have some questions about your property taxes and how to get some assistance. Please get her and the other young lady that you saw in the back. Okay. All right. So, Joanna, am I turning this over to you now? All right. Everybody welcome Joanna Underwood.
Hey, Eastside, how y'all doing? District 3, one of my favorite districts, by the way. I see some people in here. I actually grew up here briefly. I'm a West Sider, but my mom used to own a house right there on Lamont. I went to Nolan Middle School and Marshall Elementary School, so I'm familiar with this area, have a lot of cousins over here. And so it's a pleasure to be able to work for Ms. Waters so we can do things like this to educate homeowners in the city of Detroit. So basically what I'm going to do is give you a summary, a history of how we got here and a brief history on homeownership in the Black community here in the city of Detroit. But before I get started, I want to ask you a question. When the last time you looked at your deeds? Well, you said you looked at yours yesterday? Okay. All right, so a lot of y'all was real quiet. So that means y'all ain't seen them deeds in years, right? Okay, let me ask you another question. How many of y'all have quitclaim deeds in the house? How many of y'all even know what a quitclaim deed is? Okay, we got some people that know. Okay, how many people who have warranty deeds in the house? Okay, how many people don't even know what deed they have? Come on, be honest. Be honest. This is what you're here for. We're here to educate you so you can know what deed you have. So we're going to go over what is a quitclaim deed versus a warranty deed. Now I want to start off with a little brief history. Majority of the African American community came up from the South back in the 1950s, and they bought property here in the city of Detroit. Unfortunately, housing discrimination has always been a historical barrier for homeownership in the African American community. Even after the passing of Fair Housing Act in 1968, we are still behind when it comes up to homeownership. Our banks in the city of Detroit, they operate more like money warehouses. Banks are supposed to be financial lending institutions. So as you deposit money inside their banks, guess what? They supposed to lend the money back out to you. They supposed to give you loans for what? Homes, to buy homes. Give you loans for what? To start businesses. And unfortunately, for over 50 years, Black Americans was denied the American dream. We were shut out because of the historical racist practices of American banks and financial institutions that's still current to this day. But despite all of that, our elders, you in this room, persevered. And guess what you did? You saved up your hard-earned money and you bought homes in what? Cash, cold cash money. And if you couldn't buy it in cash, you did a land contract. Guess what? When you buy a house in cash, when you buy houses with land contract, you're going to receive a quick claim deed. A quick claim deed only transfer the interest of the property. There's no guarantee the person that's selling the property to you actually owned the property. We have somebody that's going to go over title that explain why that's the case. In the state of Michigan, please turn off the phones. Make sure you guys take notes. And the state of Michigan has the largest amount of quick claim deed recorded. The largest amount of quick claim deeds recorded. These deeds are legal, but it has a lot of potential for scammers to be able to use those deeds to scam and steal generational property from the African American community. We are a target because one, we was denied the bank loans, so they know we don't have warranty deeds. Two, most of our homes are undervalued. And three, they know that you bought a lot of those properties in cash. So this all made our community targets for scammers. In District 3 alone, it been 86 cases of deed fraud. Those are the cases that is reported. 86 cases of deed fraud alone in District 3. This year, this the data, 86 cases alone, okay? And so those are the cases that is reported. And a lot of people probably didn't know what to do because this kind of information session is not always available, okay? So that's why we want to thank Councilmember Mary Waters, thank God for her, because she had the vision to make this happen and allow this kind of informational session to begin. So the only way we're going to fight this is through knowledge and power by educating the homeowners on exactly what they need to do and how to protect their generational wealth that they work so hard to build. This is very serious. This information is very valuable, and I suggest that you take as many notes as possible as we go over the process on how to protect your deeds and what is the difference between quick claim deeds versus warranty deed. Now I'm going to pass the mic to my colleague, Santana Hill, for more information concerning how to clear title and entanglement titles. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joanna, and thank you to Councilmember at Large Waters, and thank you to Councilmember Benson for sponsoring this informative session. So you've heard that there are 86 cases of deed fraud going on right now in District 3. Why is this important? Deed fraud is a crime that can affect you, and by the time that you realize it has affected you, it is too late. The property has gone through 3, 4, or 5 different owners, and you were none the wiser. Not only can it deprive you of your greatest asset, your home, but not having clear title through deed fraud or through other types of lack of paperwork can impact your ability to borrow against your greatest asset. It can impact your ability to leave your greatest asset to your family. It can impact your ability to get renovations and even sell your home. So today, you're going to hear a lot of words. And Councilmember Benson so graciously brought memo pads and pens for each of you to take down some notes. I want you to raise your hand one more time if you do not have one, and a member of Team Benson will come around with it. Make sure you raise your hand nice and high. All right? So you're going to hear the word title. What does title mean? Title simply means ownership. It is what you own. When you have title to the home, that means you own it. We have people here who are going to explain what the difference between a warranty deed is and a quitclaim deed. We have panelists here who are also going to introduce to you a new term that you may not know, ladybird deed, okay? Now, don't worry if you purchased your home for cash or you inherited it, because there are a multitude of ways to protect your home from deed fraud. For example, Ted Phillips will talk more about this, but if you purchased with a land contract, there are situations where you can take that land contract down to the county and record it so that it is known that you have an outstanding interest in that property and that they got to go through you before that property is sold or devised. All right? We have Donovan McCarty from the Housing Justice Clinic, who's going to teach you more about the types of things you could do to guard against deed fraud. We have Miss Emma Howell of Detroit Title and Escrow, who can teach you how to convert your quitclaim deed from a quitclaim deed to a warranty deed, and how you can get a title insurance policy to further protect your home in case of deed fraud, okay? So now, I want you to write a few things down, okay? Write down one, warranty deed, okay? And you're gonna listen for those words as these panelists talk. The second thing you're going to write down is quit. That's Q-U-I-T as in Tom, quit claim deed. And you're gonna listen when each of these panelists says that word. Third, you are going to write down ladybird deed. One word, ladybird deed. And you're going to listen when these panelists make mention to those words. I want to thank you all for coming out, and thank you for your interest in protecting your homes. And the next voice you are going to hear is Ted Phillips from the United Community Housing Coalition.
Thank you. Thank you, Santana. I'm the executive director of the United Community Housing Coalition. I've been there since 1986, so I've seen this issue over a large number of years. The Housing Coalition does a number of different programs. We have some flyers in back that describe some of those. There's also a flyer about an event coming up that Wayne Metro is doing that would be, we're not, but they are, and it's a good event, good group. You should know about that as well. We provide legal representation in 36th District Court for tenants and homeowners buying on land contract that are facing potential evictions. We're one of 5 agencies that are there every day of the week, covering 5 courtrooms. There's over 20,000 cases filed per year in 36th District Court. It's one of the busiest in the country. And sometimes we encounter deed fraud at that level. I've heard now this is the 3rd time that there are a number of cases filed within these districts. It'd really be great to know what those cases were so we could keep an eye open at 36th District Court and catch some of those cases if they come up. So just a heads up to those in power that might make that happen. We also engage in case management work. So just representing people in court isn't enough. They sometimes have the need for rental assistance, relocation. Great to keep people in their homes if we can, but if there's 2 feet of raw sewage in the basement, no furnace, no working furnace, those folks need to move. We help them do that. There's other kinds of support we do as well for subsidized housing and things of that nature. We have an eviction diversion program that's just starting. It's limited to a couple of landlords, but we're really hopeful that it will be a pilot that will help us intervene before court to keep some of those 20,000 cases out of court. We also work a lot in tax foreclosure. Tax foreclosure has been one of the most devastating things to the city of Detroit since the change in the law in the late 90s. We've been working in that arena since 2003. If you know anyone who has gotten a yellow bag, they have until March 31st to work things out. There's been folks at these meetings. If you're one of those folks, see them right after this. There's a van in the parking lot. There's people here. If you know of somebody that is in trouble, we provide that service, and there's others providing it as well. We help connect people to payment plans, extensions, corrections of documents to make sure that they do qualify for things. We also work to get HOPE applications, that's lowering your taxes. Many people also do not have their home registered as them living there. They don't have a principal residency exemption. That means they're being taxed too high. We've also worked on a creative program with the city of Detroit since 2017 that if you're living in a house that was foreclosed for taxes, we have purchased, through the help of the city of Detroit and the Rocket Foundation, over 1,700 homes for those occupants, a lot of them tenant occupants, by investors, a lot of times investors that could care less about the city of Detroit, that have milked the property as far as they're going to get it and they're just going to abandon it. Still livable, but they're still collecting $700, $800, $900 a month rent. We've bought some of those homes and have created homeowners there. We also have a home ownership program that deals with some mortgage counseling. We don't do a lot around that because most of the folks that we work with are not, as was described earlier, able to get mortgages for a variety of bank reasons, but we're not going to get hung up on not servicing them. We'll find other ways to service them. And so with folks with mortgages and other kinds of things, we work to get the deeds corrected. As mentioned earlier, if you've had a land contract, that needs to be recorded. Unfortunately, in the state of Michigan, if you're behind in your taxes, you can't record a land contract, one of the stupider laws, because one has nothing to do with the other. But you can do what's called a memorandum of land contract. We do that sometimes. Sometimes we get people that there's nothing they can file. So we file what's called a claim of interest. At least that puts on record your claim of having some interest in that property. So if somebody tries to come along and say, well, they bought it from somebody else, your name's on something there, whatever, they should know that you're claiming that you're on the chain of title there by that claim of interest. We also have a land contract buyout program. One of the problems with land contracts is many of them end up in people losing their homes, being evicted, what have you. There's a study done a couple of years ago on properties from 2010 to 2015. It was done in about 23. Why? Because I wanted to give it time to see what worked and what didn't. They concluded that of the homes they looked at, it's a U of M study, 5% of the homes that were sold by out-of-state, out-of-country investors, 5% is all of the homeowners that were able to finally get their deed. The rest lost it. Detroit investors, Michigan investors, it was 100% better than that. Yeah, right, 10%. It's ridiculous. So we see all the time, particularly through 36th District Court with land contract forfeiture cases, people losing their homes after they've paid thousands of dollars down. Where do poor people get thousands of dollars? Their tax return, an injury. I had one person many years ago. Unfortunately, I got him way too late. He literally gave his arm for his home and then lost it. Lost his arm, got a settlement, lost all the money. So we get involved to help buy out some of these. We have a very small program. We're hoping to grow it to buy out when there's down to $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, and then allow the person to buy it back from us for 0% interest at what we paid for it. And that's been a very successful program so far. Unfortunately, a very small program. We've seen deed fraud in a lot of different ways over the years. I'm glad to hear there's such an emphasis upon it right now, and it seems to be getting better in terms of dealing with it. It didn't always seem that was not always the case. In terms of some of our recent involvement with it, one of the attorneys of Michigan Legal Services, Suzanne Lewan, had some cases last August. I said, we're there every day. In the course of being there, a woman approached her with a case that she was baffled by. Why is she in court? I'm the owner of the property. How can I be being evicted as occupant of whatever the address was? As Luan looked up the records in the court and what was filed and what have you, That person, the plaintiff was not there. They sent their attorney who swore, well, we've got other documents showing this. Got an adjournment, came back the next time, and it was immediately dismissed. What was it? It was an owner, a fraudulent owner who'd signed over as a church-sounding name of all things. First time I've had one like that. Holy something LLC. That seriously, that had claimed the property and deeded it from Holy something LLC to Holy something LLC. I mean, talk about obvious fraud. But she didn't stop there. We don't stop there. She said, well, if they've got this one, might there be others? And she checked. There were 5 other cases. Unfortunately, one of them had already been evicted. She got involved in August. That person was evicted in June. She found the other three properties. One of them involved a woman who had been in her house, I think it was 70 years. She was, as a 10-year-old, she was in the house. She was not currently in the house because of some work being done on it. She was staying with her daughter. So she didn't know anything about this court case. One of the things I missed a second ago is we also do a lot of outreach. 36 district court cases are notoriously bad for getting service. For mail service, it's not the court's fault. It's somebody who was elected in office in 2020, before 2020. You might remember who that person was. He's kind of a common name that I keep forgetting. That destroyed the post office in Detroit to some degree. It's still a mess. It is still a mess, and about 25% of the tenants in Detroit coming through 36 district court end up with default judgments. A lot of those because they're not even aware of the cases. So we try to do as much as we can to knock on doors, get the message out there every which way we can of people in court. And we did that with this one who had been in her home for so many years. Discovered that she had a default judgment. We worked on it, got it set aside, and she kept her home. We also got in touch with the other 2 as well. That's not always been the case with the court and what have you. We've had other instances in the past where, and after that, I should say, the deed fraud task force got involved, and they're fighting that one, and I trust that they really are. That has not always been the case. We've had cases in the past where we have turned over evidence of people committing fraud on the 5th floor of 400 Monroe. If you don't know where that is, that's where the Wayne County Register of Deeds is. So it's good to know that we're making some progress there. Common circumstances we see are things like what I would call sort of outright stealing. And that is where you look at, if somebody looks at a property that's in tax foreclosure. Again, if you know neighbors that are in that boat, try to get them in to see us or somebody to get help. Because what the fraudsters will do is they will go in, forge a deed with that person's name. That person, they will hope, will think that they lost their property to tax foreclosure and it's gone. It wasn't anything else. They will then go to the Wayne County Treasurer and get it removed from foreclosure and move on as the owner of the property and sell it to someone else then who had nothing to do with any of this. That's usually the last step in this, that the fraudster takes the property, gets in the chain of title, and then sells to somebody who doesn't know anything about that. And that's where big problems are created. We see a lot with vacant properties. On vacant properties, we also see a lot of times tenants being scammed. And so you need to be very careful about that. We've got one right now that a Detroit Land Bank property was sold that was obviously not owned by that person. Some of the cautions on that is when you're dealing with somebody who never does seem to have an office, never does seem to have a phone number that's not just their cell number or something like that. Or if they give you an office number, you should go to it and you might find it's a vacant lot on the east side or the west side or the whatever. Those are things that be mindful of. We've also had dead person scams, sometimes so blatant that the dead person signed their name after they died. Usually not. They'll usually backdate it though. So you need to be cautious and careful of all of those kinds of things. Sometimes it's called what I call it a planned theft. And that is somebody sells a property, gives a document that can't be recorded for one reason or another, either bad laws or it's just not properly done. And then when it's not recorded, sells to somebody else and does that as well. And so, and again, these are not people that you can usually find to sue, so you're not going to get anything out of those. Land contract sales have also been a major problem. They're not really fraud, but in a legal sense necessarily, because you are bound by the legal document you sign. And I would certainly urge anybody getting in a land contract to try to get help, try to get some review. We do those all the time for free. But the issue there is very often that the written document does not match what the person was told, or they don't understand the document. Very often land contracts are between a pretty shrewd seller and a buyer that desperately wants to own a home and hasn't been through this before and doesn't have an attorney and doesn't have a title company and what have you. And yes, they could get those things, but they very often don't. And what they get is a land contract to buy a house for $50,000 in 3 years, $500 a month, and they're going to own it. And who wouldn't take that until they would find out that there's a balloon payment with the 11% interest they were paying that's about $50,000 or whatever, and they're going to lose the home. So again, get help. That's something that we need to be mindful of. Steps to take to avoid, make sure whatever you can is recorded. If you're buying, check to see on the Wayne County Register of Deeds what's there. Get some help doing that if you can't. We do that kind of help all the time. If someone's claiming an ownership interest in your property and sending you some silly little paper that says summons and complaint from the 36th, don't ignore it. Yes, of course, you're the owner. You shouldn't be evicted. But if you don't show up, you can be. There's flyers and information on where to call and stuff like that, but just at least show up. Again, we've made sure that as long as we've had some funding with the city of Detroit, which hopefully will continue, we have people there every day to protect the interest of Detroiters. If you're making payments, make sure you make them in a way that you can show it later on. I can't tell you how many times, particularly with land contracts, the sellers will claim, oh, they didn't pay anything, and it's impossible to tell. They want it paid in cash. No, don't pay in cash. But even money orders can be hard to trace very often. Get receipts, get ongoing balances. That's the other thing that happens a lot of times with land contracts, that you made all the payments, but they're recording them late. You got a $50, $100 late fee. They're claiming with the interest being added on that the amount that you owe is way more than you know it's going to be. Those are some of the things to keep mindful of. I'll be here afterwards if you want to come up and talk. Thank you.
All right. So thank you, Attorney Phillip, for all of that helpful information. Last week we had a lady to come out, and it took her 8 years to get her property back. What sometimes they're really good at it. I'm pretty sure there are other people it's taking them a lot longer as well. The LLCs that Attorney Phillips pointed out, they're bad news for us here in this city. Very bad news, because they get to steal from you. They also purchase properties in bundles, and it's very difficult to track them. So I've reached out to the Michigan State Legislature to ask them. I said, I need you all to come up with some kind of way. If people are purchasing homes in bundles, they've got to look at this whole thing. They're also looking at deed fraud as well. But when people purchase that many homes, we need to know who they are and where they are. And that's been one of the issues. And so the Wayne County Register of Deeds also has an alert system. And my team is putting together something for you that's going to be very easy for you to follow, so that you can make sure that you go online and set yourself up so that you can be on that alert system, have registered your address. So if something starts to happen with your property, you will be alerted. So make sure that you do that. Please do not leave here without leaving us your email address so that we can keep you updated in terms of things that are happening. In case there's some new state law that comes down the pike, we might need you to go to Lansing or something, or call in and testify about what is happening. If you are not a victim yourself, you might know of some other people that have been victims, but we are here to help you protect your properties, protect your generational wealth, to protect your dignity, because and your own security too, right? So let's work together for our neighbors and our family and friends that could not be here, let's share this information with them. Tell them that they need to do something to protect themselves. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Emma Howe from the Detroit Title and Escrow Company.
Thank you, thank you. Good afternoon, District 3. Good afternoon. How we doing? So I see all these pens and papers, and I see you just going today. So tell me, 3 things you were tasked with at the beginning of this session. What were they? What were the 3 words that you were to remember? I think I got warranty deed. I heard quit claim deed. Ladybird deed. Oh, okay, so you are listening. Wonderful. Well, my name is Emma. I'm one of the owners of Detroit Title and Escrow. We're a title and escrow insurance company, and I'll come back and better explain what we do after I just lay out a few things. The role for us essentially is to protect you as a homeowner, as to your generational wealth, and then also if you are investing. Our goal is to protect you from an insurance perspective. And you wonder, well, how do you do that? So I see from looking in the room, a lot of you are probably already homeowners and you've been homeowners for years, correct? But you haven't looked at your deed in a long time. So I saw some that didn't raise their hand at all. So I'm thinking for those that did not raise their hand, do you even remember when you last looked at that deed, or when you last held it in your hand, or when you put it up in the safe, or you put it in that brown envelope and you don't remember where it's at? Do you recall at least what type of deed it was? We do. So it was a quit claim or a warranty deed, I'm thinking. A warranty deed. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good. So what one task that I'm asking you to leave here today, a commitment to us on the panel, our great councilman, for putting this together, and for yourself. You need to go home and you need to look that deed up. You need to find that brown envelope. You need to find that safe. If you don't have that deed, if you don't remember where that deed is at, you can get assistance with retrieving that deed, whether it's through our company, whether it's through Ted's company, or whether it's through the team on this panel. You want to look at your deed and you want to find out recall what type of deed you have. And I'll explain that more in detail as well. But it's important that you know what type of deed that you have, because we want to be proactive. And we want to get in front of deed fraud. And we want to also make sure that we understand, where do we push down our generational wealth when it comes to these ladybird deeds that everyone, I saw when she said that word, everyone in the audience, oh yeah, that's great. But we need to understand how that works, right? But just going back to this, understanding a quit claim deed versus a warranty deed. We hear that word quit claim and we all get scared, we all get nervous. And as Santana, I believe, said, yes, a quit claim doesn't carry a lot of weight. It's generally used for the purpose of transferring ownership to possibly a sibling, or from a husband to a wife, or adding parties to title. Is not or shouldn't be used in the cases of doing real estate transactions. Because as it was mentioned earlier, I can give you a deed to a property, but do I truly own that property, right? So a quit claim deed doesn't carry any weight. I give you a deed right now, you cannot sue me because I quit you whatever interest I had. I may have owned it, I may not have owned it, but the thing behind that is it's a quit claim. I quit and I give you what interest I have. Whereas with a warranty deed that we all say we want, everyone get excited when we hear that word warranty deed, because that's what we want. A warranty deed, the word warrant, it means that if someone gives you a warranty deed, they're warranting that property that they're conveying to you, they're signing that deed over to you in exchange for some sort of consideration. They're warranting that property is free and clear of liens and encumbrances. What do I mean by that? Liens, property taxes are paid current. They're warranting that if it was a mortgage on the property at one point, that mortgage has now been paid off and they're not passing their baggage on to you, right? They're warranting that no one else may have an interest in that property. No, perhaps some roofing work was done and they didn't pay that roofer. And now he's saying, I'm going to file some sort of lien because I want to get paid. But if I'm giving you a warranty deed, again, that word warrant means that I'm giving you warranty, that I'm giving you free and clear ownership to this property, right? So we want a warranty deed, right? Sure. Okay, let me tell you a story. Right now, $1,000. Anybody got $1,000 right now? I know it was tax season. $1,000. You give me $1,000. I'm gonna give you a warranty deed to this building.
Oh,
Who got $1,000
for this building?
for this building? You
I found out that.
got me?
For
$1,000
this building.
for this building right now. Right now. Go in half. Go in half. Okay, so 5 and 5. I'm gonna give the two of you a warranty deed from me
Yep.
over to the two of you.
Yep.
Right? And you gonna own it 50-50. Your 5, this building worth whatever it's worth, right? I gave you a warranty deed. You guys got some value. So now you're gonna go and seek someone that's gonna give you financing. Because you got value. This is an asset. You see, she wanted to go in half, so she felt like this was a good deal, right? Right, this is a good deal. So you gave me my 1,000, I'm gone. Don't call me no more because I gave you a warranty deed. I'm gone, you got the deed. Because you got a warranty deed, right? You reach out, call the bank, Liberty Bank. One, the Liberty Bank. Liberty Bank says we'll give you a loan. So the appraised value comes in, everything's good. Liberty Bank says, well, I need to call the title company because I want to get a title search because we're loaning money to you, your asset, this building that you now own. And before we loan that money, we need to make sure that you are in fact the owners and that there are no other liens or encumbrances. We see you got a warranty deed and we see that deed is recorded. So you should be good.
Right.
Title search is done. Oh, that part.
Oh.
Oh, title search done. Well, you say, well, I got it from Emma. Yeah, that's what's on the deed. Oh, Emma don't own that property. Emma don't own that property. But Emma, I'm gonna tell you. Emma don't own the property. ABC LLC truly owns the property. Wait a minute though. Emma gave me a warranty deed. I'm gonna go sue Emma. I'm gonna find Emma and I'm gonna sue Emma. Because I said early on, if you get a warranty deed, the words in front of that is warranty. You can sue me because I'm giving you marketable title. Emma don't own the property. There's a whole bunch of back taxes. You didn't know that either because you trusted Emma. You go to find Emma, you go to sue me. I got $5 in the bank. $5. I got $5 in the bank. So my point is, it's great that you got a warranty deed. And it's great that you're able to sue me. It's great that you're able to find me and sue me. And you want your $1,000 and whatever else you may have put in this building back. But I only have $5. But what you should have done before you engaged in that contract with me and you got all happy and stuff, talking about I'm about to give up my hot 500, you should have said, the deal sounds great, but I need to contact the title company because I want to get a title search. Because I need to know, one, do you, Emma, truly own this building? Do you have the ability to sell this building? Is there a mortgage on this building? Are there any outstanding taxes on this building? Emma, are you in a bankruptcy perhaps? Are there any judgments against you if you do own it? And with that title search, all that would have been discovered. But first and foremost, it would have been discovered that Emma does not own this building to be able to deed it over to you on a warranty deed for $1,000 and walk away. So my point to that is, what I want you to understand is, on that note, yeah, you do want a warranty deed, but most important, when you're engaging in real estate transactions on the buying end or the financing end, you want to engage a title company to provide you with what's called a title search before you do anything. And then once that title search is done and everything is confirmed, yeah, I own it. If there's taxes, it'll be taken care of, and et cetera. Then you can say, well, with my title search, I want now that title company to make sure the seller is giving me a warranty deed and I'm getting title insurance. See, because the insurance has more than $5 in the bank. So if there is a defect with that property and the title company has backed that transaction, where if some of you have done recent closings, you probably remember going to the title company, you got a warranty deed and signing all of those documents. And what you got after you sign those documents with that warranty deed in connection, you got a title insurance policy. That insurance policy then turns around and protects your homeownership, your generational wealth, and your investment. So what I want you to remember, if nothing else, yes, quit claim deed, we want to stay away from those unless we're doing some sort of transfer between family. Warranty deed, absolutely, we want a warranty deed every time we can get it. But most importantly, what do we want in connection with that warranty deed? I can't hear you. Title insurance. That's exactly it. Title insurance is, the prices are driven based on the sales price. I'll come back to that for you, Councilman Benson. I got just a few more things. So that's with that part. Now we talked about those that are buying, but let's talk about those that are, we'll take questions at the end if it's okay. Let's talk about those that are current homeowners. You done already bought. This is your home. You're already in it. So we talked about how to protect if we're thinking about buying. But let's talk about if we are in a land contract in the audience. So if some of you are in a land contract, the same rule applies to you, or the same request. You need to go and look at that land contract, or if you fulfilled that land contract, you need to go and look at your records and see, hey, I paid that land contract off 10 years ago. Did I get my deed after I paid it off? Because if you didn't get your deed after you sent that final payment in, we need to look into that, because you don't own your property. You may have a land contract equity interest, but if the person that you were buying the property from didn't give you a deed after you mailed in or met them and gave them that last payment, they're still the owner of your property. So I need for my land contract holders in the house or in the building to actually go and look at your paperwork as well, because we need to look at that document and make sure we got a deed. And if we didn't, we need to get you cleared up there as it relates to Ted. Can you get title insurance on the land contract? Sure. Can you get title insurance on a cash transaction? Yes. So it's not always about if I'm getting a mortgage is the only time I contact the title company and I have them do the search and I have them give me title insurance. You can do it on a cash. You should. You can do it if you're thinking about doing a land contract. Yes, you should. And of course, if you're getting any type of financing, because the lender's going to say, I'm giving you money on this property, I want to be protected. And they're going to demand that there's title insurance and a title company involved. So it's important to understand it doesn't stop with just a mortgage. Now, if you already own your property, the last time you looked at your deed, or maybe you didn't, you want to look at your deed. We can't go back. So if you got your property on a quick claim deed and you got it years ago, we really can't go back. So I don't want to freak you out and say, okay, we can go and get a warranty deed now, because we cannot do that. But what you do want to do is you want to look at your deed and see what type of deed you have and see what name is on your deed. For two reasons. Someone's laughing in the audience. You know where I'm going with this? For two reasons. One, you want to make sure that, again, you own it. Your name is on the property. But perhaps when you, as a gentleman, you took the property, you were single. And now you're married. Wife's name not on the deed. Or for my ladies in the audience, you got the property and you were single. And now you're married. Husband's name's not on the deed. That's a problem. That's a problem, because if one or the other passes away, you have to go through probate. Stop it. So you want to look at the deed for that purpose, because we want to maintain and keep our generational wealth within our family. We don't want to have to go through probate. We want to make sure that we're looking at our deeds to make sure that our names are on our deeds, our spouse's names are on our deeds. If we're thinking about adding someone to our deed, first off, we don't want to just trust anyone. And sometimes family can be our worst enemy.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that in the sense of a lot of us for inheritance purposes, or again, keeping that home in the family, we'll say, well, we're going to add our daughter, or we're going to add our niece, or we're going to add mom, or what have you. All that is great, but two ways. One, if you're doing that outside of doing a ladybird deed, we'll talk about that. But if you're doing that, just I want to add my daughter to my deed. But if your kid is financially irresponsible, or they just move different, you want to think twice about doing that. Because when you add, when you add someone to your deed, you're basically giving them half of your ownership if you're doing it just an add. And now you're giving them control, just like you have control. And if they're not responsible and debt occurs against them, judgments and liens, that attacks your property. That becomes a problem for your property. If they're out here moving different and they need money, they can sell their one half to someone on a mortgage. That impacts your property and your ownership. Someone comes up and say, hey, you know, I was looking at your documents and things just don't seem right. I don't see your name as taxpayer of record. You need to sign these documents. Absolutely not. Your deed is like your credit. You don't let that go. You don't just turn that over. You don't just turn signatures over. That's how you protect yourself. You have to protect yourself from deed fraud from more than just the strangers and the predators, but sometimes it's within our circle, it's within our community. So when folks are saying, hey, put me on your deed, or hey, let me see your deed, or hey, let me see your documents, for what? That's what you want to look for what? Because you do not want to become a victim of deed fraud based on trusting someone. Because yes, we do have those that prey on us at night and those that are forging documents and those that are creating documents, but we also have those within our communities that's doing the same thing. So you have to look at it like that, and you have to be mindful of that. And the last thing, and we'll touch on it more because I will be here for a while, the ladybird deeds. Those are definitely a good way to keep homeownership and keep that generational wealth within the family and keep those 95 years, I think I heard someone talking about in the audience. The difference with adding someone on your deed outright is versus preserving your ownership and adding them on a deed and saying that their ownership doesn't come into play until your death. So that's what we're talking about with the ladybird deeds. And yes, that can be done. And yes, that's generally done by the quitclaim deeds. No problem. But just outright putting someone on your deed, I don't care who it is. Think twice about it, because it's not always about what's currently going on with them now. It could be things that could happen to them later on. And then it prevents you from making moves for Hope program or other city grants and things that you can do using your home as collateral because you've clouded it. You've been defrauded, yes, but it was you walking into a situation because you just didn't know. So I'm hopeful with this. I'm going to summarize it with, which one you want? Quitclaim deed, warranty deed, or title insurance? I was about to say now. Okay. All right. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time. Again, I will stick around afterwards. My partner is over at the table with additional information. And we're going to continue to make homeownership, protect our generational wealth, and protect our investments.
And this goes back to Miss Emma. So is there a place to get the basic information that you've outlined here, some documentation? Okay. You have a panel, you have a table to back? Fantastic. Okay, that's what people need to know. In addition, what is the cost of a title search?
And that search will outline any recorded information that's going on with the property, anything recorded. So if something's not recorded, and we do find it quite often where maybe, again, you're in a land contract and that deed isn't recorded, we'll bring that up so we can rectify that situation. That's a tangled title. Or perhaps there was a old mortgage, but the mortgage has been paid off, but there's no discharge on there. We can help with that to help find out, okay, what bank it was to get that released from your property. But the title search gives an overview of you as the actual owner. Maybe there was a deed that was done 30 years ago, because we go back generally 40 years on a title search. Because, what we can find is we have to find the first good deed from Auntie May, way back when. And if we cannot find that, because a lot of times, as it was pointed out, the transfer of property was done by way of a land contract because we couldn't get mortgages, right? And when that land contract was paid off way back when with Auntie May and Uncle Fred, they never did a deed over to Donna. But Donna's been owning that property for 40 years, but they just didn't know to do that deed. So we still have to bring up Auntie May and Donna's interests. So those are those tangled titles. And a title search will show stuff like that, and then we can navigate together with the help of someone on the panel to get those things cleared up for you so that you can get title insurance or marketable title.
Thank you, Ms. Emma.
All right. We're going to hear from one other person before we go to questions.
Okay.
Can you guys hold on? Pardon me? Two more people? All right. So we do have, we're going to go to Donovan next. Donovan McCarty, MSU Housing Justice Center. Yeah, you're going to be interested in hearing from him too. He's currently representing some people. All right, Donovan.
Okay, great. Yeah, my name is Donovan McCarty. I'm the director of the Housing Justice Clinic at Michigan State University College of Law. So just a little bit about me. I've been studying deed fraud and for about 3 years now. I've taken, dozens of cases, mostly with people living in Detroit. Um, always for free, so that I know that's nice. My clinic is operated by students, so our capacity is limited, but we take as many cases as we can. Right now, we have about 11 people waiting in line. So to the extent that any of you are able to put pressure on anybody for funding, I'm always happy to hear about that. But what might be most helpful to you all is for me to give out my email and my phone number. I should have brought cards, but I did not. It's housing clinic at law. Oh, okay, sorry, yeah. So housing clinic at law.msu, like Michigan State University, .edu. And my phone number, which is my office phone, so try not to call it too much, but I will answer it when I can, is 517-432-6967. Okay, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. But I also wanted to kind of start to, level set a little bit. I don't know if everybody's familiar with deed fraud, but I just wanted to walk through. Oh, did you need me to repeat any of that? Oh, yeah, McCarty. Yep, MCCARTY. No H, no N, just McCarty. Okay, so great. Oh, Donovan. Yeah. So, I want to just kind of explain to people how these things happen, just so you can kind of get a sense of what I've seen over and over again, right? In case some of you aren't familiar. The way that deed fraud works is somebody basically walks in with a deed that is fraudulent, right? It's not correct. They might be the fraudster, they might be somebody who was defrauded into filing that deed, but they go into the register of deeds and they file it, right? Then it's in the register. What that means is there's a cloud on your title. So if you want to mortgage it, if you want to get title insurance, whatever you want to do with your property, you really can't, right? Because there's a cloud on your title. So you have to get that wiped away. And the way to do that is through what's called a quiet title action in circuit court, right? That's very expensive if you want to hire an attorney, about $3,000 to $5,000 usually, right? Sometimes up to 10. You can find news reports of up to tens of thousands of dollars. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what people are saying they're paying. So anyway, so that's the general process, right? But why does it happen, right? It seems odd that somebody can just walk in. We're not having anybody from the Register of Deeds talking today, are we? Okay, so I'm going to just explain a little bit about what the Register of Deeds views their role as and is legally their role. They're just a ministerial actor, which means if somebody gives them something, as long as it complies with like form, the right font, the right margin sizes, they've got to put it in the Register of Deeds. That's their role. Even if, and I know this for a fact happens, they know that somebody is a common fraudster, they know that a notary is fraudulent, they can't do anything about it, right? They have to record it. So that puts a lot of problem, right? They have a program, right, where you can sign up. Anybody files anything on your property, you'll get notified. But what's the problem with that? The problem with that is, well, then you got to go to quiet title and you got to pay $3,000 to $5,000 to an attorney. Because I'll be perfectly honest, it took me 6 months to figure out this process, and I'm a trained attorney. It's going to be very difficult for all of you working your jobs, having your lives, to figure out that process. It's incredibly complicated. It requires drafting and filing a complaint, serving it on people, sometimes people who don't exist. So what do? You have to have an alternate service motion. You have to have a default judgment motion. I'm kind of babbling here. You don't have to write all this down. The point is, it's complicated, right? And so what the real solution here is changing the process, right? It's legislation. And I say that because that's what we're working on at the Housing Justice Clinic. We're working on legislation. We have a package of 6 bills that we're hoping will be introduced later this year that a representative is working on. I don't have permission to release the name, so I won't. But the point is, we're working on legislation that will comprehensively address this. It will address it by giving the Register of Deeds the authority to review and potentially reject documents. It will also give expedited quiet title. So on the back end, what that means is there's a faster process that doesn't take, and I didn't mention this in the first instance, it takes me at minimum 6 months to get somebody's house back from when I see it, right? So my clients who have actually been kicked out of their homes, that means they're out of their homes for at least 6 months. And that's if everybody cooperates. And frankly, if the other side doesn't show up. If they do, we're looking at a year, we're looking at 2 years, minimum, right? So like I said, the first thing that we really need to correct is allowing the Register of Deeds the opportunity to substantively review and either provisionally or just outright reject these deeds. The second thing that we need to do is we need to give these expedited quiet title procedures. And hopefully the Register of Deeds is empowered also to assist you with that, right? To help you with filing, to help you with serving all of that, right? So that's those are kind of the two big things. There's a lot of other kind of micro things that I could go through, but those are kind of the two big things that the legislation will hopefully address. But we'll need your support, right? I mean, when council member says we might need you to come testify, right? That's the kind of thing that we might need you to come testify to the benefits of what these things can do and to the damage that deed fraud has done. So I also want to kind of say, another thing that you can do is obviously if you feel like you're a victim of deed fraud, be sure to go to the Wayne County Mortgage and Deed Fraud Unit. I don't know if anybody's been there, but there's a woman named Sandra Buciero. You have been there. Okay, yeah. There's a woman named Sandra Buciero. She's wonderful. She's an attorney there, and she will meet with you. She will pull your deeds. She will see what's going on, and she will potentially refer it to prosecution. Now, the prosecution's a whole, 5 minutes, okay. The whole prosecution's a whole nother matter that we can get into later, but the point is, make sure you're doing that, right? She also is the person that I generally get cases from. She's kind of my pipeline. So I also want to mention, let's see, just one other thing. The last thing I want to say is, we also really need to, and I don't want to put anybody on blast here, but we really need to use technology to identify deed fraud, right? I have computer scientists who are ready and willing to go if we can get access to the Register of Deeds database to process these things, to determine them. Like Ted said, if somebody was dead when they filed a deed, when they signed a deed, we can pretty easily say, hey, here's the death records, here's the deeds. We can compare them. That's a fraudulent deed, right? We can also do the same thing. Deeds are only signed by the grantor, right? The person who actually gives the property away. So we don't have the signature of the grantee, who is often the person whose signature is forged on a fraudulent deed, right? But we do have that signature with the assessor's office, so we can take those signatures using AI, which I know sounds, complicated and scary, but it's very simple for these science wizards, these computer wizards. They can compare these things, right? So we could run these programs. We can find breaks in chain of title that also indicate fraud. There are these very clear metrics that we can use, but we need access to the database, because right now it would be potentially illegal for us to go scrape it. So anyway, that's what I have to say. I'll be around too to talk.
Thank you. Thank you, Attorney McCarty. I hope you didn't feel too rushed, because you don't have to be. If you
no.
need to share some additional information, you should.
No, that's it. I got through all of my notes, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. Because I've got to tell you, I do know one state senator says she's working on deed fraud there in Lansing. This state senator Sylvia Santana, because she came to our last meeting. And I think that I'm not sure who the package of bills went to. Each bill, you said it's about 6 of them in the hopper.
Yeah, we've got 6 being drafted by the Legislative Services Bureau right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know who all the
I'll
sponsors
contact
are.
Sylvia Santana.
I don't know who all the sponsors are going to be, but it's something that we need. We really, really need, because guess what? They ignore us here at the local level. I mean, we can put all the ordinances in place that we want to, until we can get some state laws in place that locks them up for doing those kinds of things. Then you will see the difference. And that's what we're looking for, because we don't want people in a situation to continue to lose their properties. It's not right. It is not right. It is not right. And so if you notice anything suspicious yourselves, please, like I said, leave your email addresses, because we're going to notify you too when those bills come up for hearings as well. I don't know if we have any victims in the audience or not. Yes, you see, we'll need victims to testify, because you can do so virtually in Lansing. They will allow that to testify before committee. So keep that in mind. In fact, I want people, what should we put next to their names? So, oh, just put victim next to your name. That's it. Oh, interested party. Well, that's a lot of writing. What? Well, okay, put a V. You don't have to spell it out. Gosh, remember Benson? He knows how to rain on a parade. So next up, we're going to hear, and then you're going to be able to ask some questions. We're going to hear from our Wayne County Treasurer's Office. They might have some helpful information. Where is she? Oh, okay, all right. Go ahead. You can stand if you want
Thank
to.
you.
Mhm.
Good evening. I would first like to give greetings from your county, Wayne County Treasurer, Eric Sabri. My name is Dawn Lee Cotton, and I'm the Deputy Treasurer for Forfeiture Foreclosure at the Treasurer's Office. And so we're here with the deed fraud prevention to talk about the importance of you owning your home, because what the Treasurer's Office offers is payment plans, reduced interest payment plans, distressed owner occupant payment plans for those who own and occupy the home. So it is important that you are able to present a deed, property transfer affidavit, your ID, and if you can show again that you are the owner occupant of that home, we do have payment plans for you. You have until March 31st to get into a payment plan. To prevent your property from being foreclosed. We do have people who have come to us who have experienced deed fraud. And if we get verification from the deed fraud department, Ms. Sandra, as he mentioned, we could possibly look into withholding your property from foreclosure pending pending investigations and what's going on. But the most important thing is that, yes, you have your deed and you can show that you are an owner occupant of your home, and we can get you into payment plans that will help you keep your home while going through any fraudulent experiences that you may be experiencing. So we are here, we have information. The Wayne County Treasurer, Eric Sabri, wants to keep you in your home. We are here to help, to put you in payment plans, to help you work out the best way to get your delinquent property taxes paid. Thank you.
And thank you so much. And your council members do not have a problem reaching out to your Wayne County Treasurer's Office if you're having some difficulty. We will help to advocate on your behalf, help to facilitate things. Now, some of you probably recently received that yellow piece of paper in the mail, right, from the assessor's office, telling you whether or not your property is still the same, or did it increase, or whatever it might have done. So if you don't agree with that, you should appeal it. I think isn't on the back of the form, I believe it is. You can put it in there. You can appeal your what the assessor has come up with. Now, as a residential property owner, you have to first appeal with the city, with the assessor's office. Then you can also move to the Board of Review, which happens in March. So you can exhaust both of those. If you don't like the decision that they made because you know that it's going to increase your property taxes too much, here's what I want you to do. You then take it to the Michigan Tribunal, all right? You can file your paperwork. You can challenge what the assessor's office here at the city level, their rulings, by taking it to the state level. But as a residential property, you cannot take it straight to the state. You have to first take care of it, appeal at the local level. Then you're able to take it to the state level. Business owners can go straight to the state, but residential property owners cannot. You first have to appeal at the local level. Does that make sense? All right, so I'm telling you, go and appeal if you need to, if you believe it's going to drive up your property taxes. You don't know, right? So if you feel like you need to appeal, you have, I think, until what is it, the end of this month? End of February, I believe, to
It's February.
yeah.
It's February 22nd.
February 22nd.
But it's March 9th for Board of Appeal.
And more,
reviews.
for the Board of Review,
Yeah.
right?
Board of Review, March 9th, yep.
Right, Board of Review. So keep those 2 dates in mind. February 22nd is, you can appeal to the assessor. That's that yellow paper you got, right? Then by March 9th, you can go to the Board of Review, and generally they have a place that they meet out in the community. You can come in and talk with them and so forth. So I just want us to be armed with all of the information necessary. And with that, we can open it up for questions now, Joanna.
Okay, and before we start with the questions, we're gonna take questions. I also want to let you know that this applies to side lots too, because we had a call and someone was talking about, is this related to side lots? Most of y'all bought side lots through quick claim deed, so they could take your side lots too. So I had a couple cases about that too. A lady asked me about that. I just wanna let y'all know all the information applies to property and land. So if you own your side lots, they can take it, okay? So property and land, all this information is property and land. Okay, first question.
Just real quick, before we go on, I just want to add something to that. So how many of you just received that flyer regarding life and legacy planning? And so how many of you all heard Ms. Emma when it came to Ladybird deeds? When it came to entangled title? That is a free program by the city of Detroit to help you plan your estate for free. You can get a Ladybird deed. You can get a power of attorney. You can get your estate planned. So for those who have property and want to ensure that it's properly transferred or transitioned once they go on to glory to their family, the city will pay for that. That's about $4,000 on the market. We will give that to you free. Please call that number. We've got hundreds of people who go to these workshops and go through this process. This is not something that we talk about typically at our kitchen table, but this is something we have to. If we don't want to end up in tangled title, if you don't want to go through probate, which we'll pay for as well, you don't want to do it though. Get your assets in order ahead of time because we all go on to glory. No one has figured out how to not do that. But what we have for you is once you go on to glory, a way to ensure that your family members, and say as early, maybe you don't like your family members, but you want to give it to your church. You want to give it to your school or some other organization you can. And we in the city of Detroit will do that for you and will pay for it. Take advantage. For those of you with young families, take advantage. You typically think, no, this is only for our seniors. No, get your assets in order and make sure that you can transfer your generational wealth to the next generation by having your estate properly planned. It's called life and legacy planning. There's a flyer. If you didn't receive a flyer, raise your hand, please. Everybody we got a few people that don't have a flyer. Thank you. We'll get it to you.
Okay, we have this question. Yes, sir. You got to talk in the mic.
Okay. Hi, my name is Darnell. I'm currently representing an uncle that's going through deed fraud. He was awarded 100% of the two-family flat that they live in 1998 by a probate judge because a cousin took out a fraudulent mortgage on a property they own jointly. Since then, well, he thought that award from the judge was a deed. He was told that back in the day, and it wasn't. Unfortunately, the cousin that did the fraud, her daughter still thinks that the property is part of her family's. So in 2018, she did a fraudulent deed transferring the property from her mother to her. We just found out no more than a week ago. Now, is there a way, if I speak with my cousin, I'm just finding out, is there a way that we can get her to remove that fraudulent deed from Wayne County records? Because it would keep her from going to the joint. And unfortunately, she's taking care of another elderly family member.
Couldn't you just do the back? Because they don't own it. What?
There's a couple of things there, just from a title perspective, and we do have the attorneys here. But you mentioned early on that your cousin was awarded the property by way of through courts. So I don't think you said Was it probate?
Probate.
Okay, so most of the time, the probate judge or any judge will give an order. So there's a probate case, and within that probate case, a lot of times they will give an order, and if that was stipulated in the order, saying that whatever transpired has been overturned or this property is now vested to your cousin, that order can be recorded, or some other type of document the probate court would have given that should have been recorded. It doesn't necessarily have to be a deed, because there's no one that can give a deed because it was done through probate. But if the judge is giving an order vesting title to your uncle, then that document should have been recorded.
Right.
And
that document is recorded with
Okay.
Wayne County.
Okay, so then from there, if they continue to commit fraud, then obviously that's where you're going to be looking at the quiet title and of course the prosecution. But if the parties do agree to deed back, they're extinguishing their interest.
Right.
So they can do that. And obviously that's the quicker and better route, is to have them just give back what they fraudulently took. But, it doesn't always.
Could we do that through a title agency?
You can do it to a title agency, but I would recommend that you seek an attorney just to make sure that all the loose ends are tied up. Because the difference with us as a title insurance company, we're not licensed attorneys. We are insurance companies, and there are statutes that we have to follow for marketability, and we view a lot of things the same. But at the end of the day, there's some things that I cannot advise you on or give legal advice on because we're not attorneys. So when it comes to something like that, to make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. And if she is going to deed back, I would say just engage an attorney and perhaps have them work with the title company.
You're welcome to give me a call and I can walk you through it.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, your uncle was supposed to record a deed down there and filed a claim of interest, which he did not do that, because if he would have did that, she would never been able to take out that loan.
Joanna, real quick, just in case anybody has a similar situation, what I think actually might have happened is in probate court, judges actually don't usually issue orders that can be recorded, right?
Right.
Circuit court does through a quiet title action,
Yeah.
but what they issue is an order that says that the personal representative of the estate can then give a
Go down.
deed in accordance to the will or in accordance to the heirs. So I think that might have been the step that was missing, is that deed was never drafted by the personal representative.
Yeah, it was supposed to be recorded. You should, your uncle's supposed to have went down to the Wayne County Register of Deeds office and then filed a claim of interest. Okay.
My name is Bernice.
Okay,
I
you gonna work the role?
paid cash for my property, so I assume I have a quick claim deed. I'm not certain.
No, not necessarily.
Well, okay, my question is
Okay, I'm trying to get her to talk in the mic, ma'am. Hold the mic like this.
every year I receive the assessment notices and I paid property taxes. So is it still possible for someone else to have title to my property? No, I haven't cleared it.
Yeah.
Well, it's possible for someone to may have recorded a deed against your property and you're not aware of it. That could happen. That's why that's someone that would be considered a victim of fraud. Someone right now could have recorded a fraudulent deed against your property and you're not aware of it. So it's a couple of things. You want to first go find your deed. You pay cash. You may have gotten a warranty deed. Could have possibly been a quick claim deed, but that just states, yes, I do have a deed. But the bigger thing is getting with Wayne County or one of us on a panel to have us just not even necessarily do a title search, but just pull any last recorded documents, maybe in the last year or whatever, just to make sure nothing new has been recorded, because a lot of you can become a victim of fraud not knowing that someone has forged your name or signed a deed on your property. That's what we're trying to prevent with legislation and other things that you're hearing them talk about, getting in front of the county and stop allowing folks to come in and record these documents without more of a process to protect you from becoming a victim of fraud.
But the deeds and the taxes are two entirely separate things, though, with two entirely separate bodies that review those. But you do bring up an interesting point, and that is that sometimes you can spot deed fraud with the fraudster going in and putting their name on the taxes. And again, it's a red flag to then know that something else is probably going on. But those are separate things. Just because you're still on the taxes doesn't mean somebody might not have taken advantage of you.
And also, when you buy properties from the Wayne County auction, a lot of times y'all go down to the Register of Deeds office, y'all never come down to the city and do a property transfer affidavit. You have to transfer the property affidavit with the city too. You just can't go down to the Wayne County Register of Deeds office, or not deeds office, the treasurer's office. When they give you that, when you register with the treasurer, you come down to the city of Detroit and you fill out a property transfer affidavit. You have to do that too, especially if you want to plan on living in it so you can receive your PRE.
Thank you.
What's
I
the
don't,
penalty if you don't do it?
Well,
It's a fine.
yeah, it's a fee,
That-
but the
that's a civil-
county.
That is a civil infraction.
Yeah.
my name is Gwen Mingo, and my house downtown Detroit was literally stolen from me. Despite all this, I used to be a magistrate myself, so I know a little bit about the law. But the people that stole it were very powerful and they wanted my land. And in that case, I don't care who you are. They can't, seems like nobody can help you. I went to your office, Ted, and I remember you just took my file and set it to the side and never called me back. I don't know, there are political things. I don't know what anybody else is dealing with, but they count on you not being aware, being ignorant, not having any money to hire and pay all this money like you were talking about, and losing your house. Then they send your taxes to the wrong address sometimes, and then you lost it and you don't know what happened. So you have to pay attention to what happened. In my case, my husband died in 2006. When he died, we had credit life insurance on the house that paid for the house. But we were with a company called Washington Mutual. They transferred my file to NBD or Chase. And Chase pretended like I owed the money, although they had sent me a letter that said I owed them nothing. I presented it to the court. I presented it to probate court. In fact, every court. And some of you know, I took them all the way down to the bottom, back to the top, back to the bottom, back to the top. Federal court, every court. The judges did not help me because whoever wanted my land in Brush Park was more powerful than I could ever be. And I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. It caused a lot of damage to my family. And I just hope that never happens to anybody else. But I want to tell you, sometimes it seems like you're beating your head against the wall because you're beating your head against some corporations and people that want to take Detroit. And I was over 17 neighborhoods in this city, and they systematically took the prime property, starting with the River Grain Market, moving all the way downtown and crosstown. And they did not like me, and they fought me back and threw me out in the streets. 7 dumpsters, 7. Yes,
Let's-
7 dumpsters of stuff.
Let's
But
let's
there
try
is
to
a God.
stay
There is a God.
stay on target.
Okay. And when she persevered, she fought that case to the end. She really did. Okay, so let's give her a hand clap because she went through a lot. She was up with corporate interest money and everything, and she fought it to the end. Thank you for coming and telling your testimony. Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna get to you.
I'd like to know if someone could tell me what do I have to do to move a quit claim deed to a warranty deed? And a quit claim deed to a warranty deed, how can I change it? Oh,
She can answer.
gonna answer it. Go ahead.
Well, there's really no changing it. What deed you have is the deed that you would get. So if you've already received a quit claim deed, that's essentially giving you your ownership to your property and possibly any issues if there are. At this point, when you acquired that deed or when you got that deed, if you didn't have a title search done, that's where you want to start now, because you want to make sure that there were no issues that came with the deed when you got your deed. Because if there were issues, they will still be shown on the title search. And at that time, we have to talk about what they are and the best way to resolve them if we can. That, you know, you could have ownership, but you could just have some challenges that come with that ownership, open mortgages or other liens. And that's what we have to look for to see if we can get that stuff cleared up, whether it's through the title company or we have to go through a legal steps. But the deed you got is all you would get. It's just now a matter of, can I get title insurance, or do I have a clear deed, or do I have clear title so that I can sleep at night? But there's no upgrading. If I get a warranty deed, if I get a quick claim, that's what I'm gonna get. Now it's, can I get title insurance, or can I clear this if there's issues? You wanna go in on the front end trying to get a warranty deed if you can. But for right now, for those of you in the audience that have a quick claim, you have that. Now we just wanna make sure the title is clear with that quick claim.
We're gonna take 3 more questions because we want to have time for y'all we're gonna have like at least 10 or 20 minutes to come and talk to the panel personally, okay? So I'm gonna take 3 more questions for the audience and then we're gonna wrap it up.
This question is for Paul. You mentioned about inside jobs, which everybody knows what's been going on within the county. So I want to know, far as the leaders, District 3, City Council, why, or the residents, why we're not holding the county responsible for these fraudulent deeds. And my next question is, when we have a LLC or anybody involved, why are we not prosecuting them? Because it's going to lead back to somebody. And so why they're not prosecuted, why nobody is doing time? You get a deed, it's a name on there. It's a company name on there. I can go look up my company name. I can go look up y'all. So what's the problem here? So who really need to be held accountable? Because this is only happening truly in Detroit. Is this happening in Royal Oak, Ferndale, East Point to this magnitude? Ain't nobody taking $1 million house.
Actually, it's happening all over the country.
Yeah.
It's all. Yeah. Well, let me say this. Listen, the Wayne County Register of Deeds, first of all, can only do what the state law allows them to do. And that's it. I'm hoping that the bills that Mr. McCarty talks about will help us with some of these things on the front end, as Ms. Howell said. There's nothing that your city council members can do other than trying to educate you, bring in the people, the experts, which is why we are here, because we want to arm you with the necessary information. We want to work with our state legislators to make sure that they get those things on the books, get laws so that we can help protect people. That's what we're doing. And so we're going to need your help in order to do that. Because sometimes, I'm telling you, as a former state representative myself, let me tell you, if they don't hear from the community, they get so caught up in themselves that it never happens. I want to make sure that we have some people that are available to testify when that time comes. And we're doing all that we can to your concerns, young lady. It's the same as ours. That's why we're here.
Yeah. It's okay. We're trying to hear our next question because we want to make sure everybody get a chance to speak. Hold on. Mike, because y'all
This question is for Emma. For the title insurance, how does it work? Is this a one-time fee that you pay? I know I have a warranty deed. I don't know if I have title insurance or not. So how does title insurance work?
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. When you got your warranty deed, do you recall going through a title company or going to a title company's office? Or you don't remember? Oh, okay. All right. Well, if you went through a title company, yes, title insurance is a one-time fee, and it insures you for the duration of your ownership, which is why I put emphasis on it insures for generational wealth, because it insures your heirs as well. That's the concept behind that. So when you go through the title company and you get a title policy at the end, typically that policy is paid for at time of your purchase, at time of your closing, if you will, at the time that you get your warranty deed. And the presumption is the title company has done all of their due diligence. And I want to just stray away just a little bit to put emphasis on, as the title company, we don't just take anything. One of the things that we do, to this young lady's point, someone says they're the seller and they are an LLC. We look at corporate documents to the best of our ability to make sure that you are, in fact, have the ability to sign that deed. We look at signatures on quitclaim deeds in the chain of title to make sure that an old mortgage matches a current signature. These are things that we do because at the end of the day, as the title company giving title insurance, we're telling you that we back and we insure your transaction. So if there was any type of fraud leading up to your transaction or leading up to you giving the money in exchange for that deed, we're looking to prevent that, or we're saying we can't insure this deal. And because of this rise of fraud, not only in Detroit, but all around, because we service all of Michigan. So it is more than just our city that we see this. We've turned away a lot of deals because we've seen the fraud. And we've reported that to the fraud division. And we tell folks, if you are a victim of fraud or you know someone that's a victim, report it to the Wayne County Fraud Division or whatever county and seek legal help immediately to get your property back. But there's been cases where we've said, nope, that's fraud. We're not going to do it. We've called the owners and said, hey, before we do this transaction, we want to verify that you did in fact sign this deed. And they're saying, what deed? I never signed a deed. So we try to do what we can do, because at the end of the day, once we say this transaction is closed and we've given you title insurance, if anything comes up from your ownership that day back, because we insure the past, not the future. If anything comes up, that's why you have title insurance. And it's not me sitting here. I'm the face for the insurance company. I'm the one that's binding that. But if I shut my doors tomorrow, your title insurance policy is still in place, just as if it was auto insurance or if it was life insurance. You file a claim because you are insured. So to answer your question again, yes, it's a one-time fee, and it's generally based on how much you're paying for your property. And it's also this for the duration of your ownership. You pass it to your heirs. That's why we talk about these ladybird deeds and other deeds, to make sure that we keep that in place. But it's for you that we've insured. If you change a deed and you deed it to someone else, that policy does stop. But it's for the person that we've insured during that time of transfer.
Okay, we're gonna listen. Everybody, I need 20 minutes. So all of y'all that want to ask the questions, and I'm gonna get this last one question for the audience. Y'all can line up and ask your questions directly to them, okay? So I want to give y'all 20 minutes to do so.
Joanna, before you go to the next question, somebody in the back wanted to know what a PRE was.
Oh, a primary.
We're using that, and folks don't understand.
Okay, it's a primary residential exemption. When you are the primary homeowner and occupying a home, you can get a discount on your property taxes. You can get eligible for the HOPE application. This is strictly for owner occupiers. They call primary resident exemption. Last questions, and then you guys can line up and ask questions directly to the panelists.
Good afternoon, and thank you for doing this. My question is there anybody in here that before I leave here will commit to helping me and walking me through to make sure my house is covered and everything is decent and in order? I have been through, for the last 4 years, I have been through a lot, and some of it has been with my house. Simple things that should not have been, that should have been taken care of quickly and correctly. And right now I'm just being burdened with people contacting me via phone, via email, via text messages, via letters about purchasing my home. And when I tell them I'm not interested, it goes in one ear and out the other. And that should not be. These people should not have access to me like that. They should not be able to continuously do this. I have a lot on my plate. I cannot deal with any more of this stuff. So I'm asking, is there anybody? And if so, who is?
Yeah, those scammers. Yeah, those scammers. You can put your name on a no block list.
I'm thinking maybe Attorney Phillips or McCarty can help walk her through it.
Yeah, she could walk you through it. Okay, y'all.
One last item. One quick piece of housekeeping. For those who are interested in estate planning, this is for our Zoom audience. please call 866-313-2520. 866-313-2520 for your free estate planning. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, y'all can line up over here and you can ask your question. Just try to line up, okay? 'Cause we wanna make
Thanks,
sure
everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone, for coming. Thank you.